Hello everyone. This is Dimple Lalwani, your English teacher from Pratishthan Learning Center, Lotus Petal Foundation. Students, today I'm going to teach you all tenses. Students, tense is the most important concept of English grammar. Once you have the complete understanding of this concept, you can speak correct English with great confidence. So, let's get started. So the first question that comes to our mind is, what is tense? A tense tells us the time when an action takes place. It is the ability of a verb to situate itself in time. So only verb helps us identify the type of tense. Basically, there are three types of tenses: present, past, and future. Each of these tenses is further subdivided into four types, which we will discuss later. Before we get to the main concept, let's see the basic structure of a sentence. So the basic structure of a sentence is subject plus verb according to tense and object. Now the question that arises here is, what is subject, verb and object? Let's have a look. A subject is the doer of the action, काम करने वाला. And in the sentences where no action is taking place, over there the subject is about whom we are talking, जिसके बारे में हम बात कर रहे हैं. So here are a few pronouns which are used as subjects: I, you, he, she, it, we, they, who, and whoever. For example, Rita is playing football. The work which is being done over here is playing. खेलने का काम हो रहा है. Who is doing this work? Rita. So Rita is subject over here. In the next sentence, the sentence is, she is my teacher. No work is taking place over here. So we have to see about whom we are talking. So we are talking about she. So over here our subject is she. Now let's understand object. Object is just the opposite of subject. Instead of acting, they are acted upon. An object answers either of these two questions: what or whom. And we can have two objects also in one sentence, or even more than two. There are two types of objects: direct object and indirect object. The answer of what is your direct object, and the answer of whom is your indirect object. Here are a few pronouns which are used as objects: me, you, him, her, it, us, them, whom, and whomever. Let's take an example. Rita is playing football. Now we have to ask these questions: what and whom, to the main verb, and the main verb in the sentence is playing. Rita is playing what? Are we getting the answer? Yes, we are getting answer football. This is our answer of what. So this is our which type of object? This is our direct object. Okay, the second example is, she gave me a pen. Let's ask the question in the very same fashion again. She gave me what? I'm getting the answer. The answer is pen. This is our answer of what? Again, this is our direct object. Let's ask the second question as well. She gave whom? किसे दिया? Me. This is our answer of whom. So this is our indirect object. Answer of what is your direct object, and answer of whom is your indirect object. And as I told you, we can have both direct and indirect objects in one sentence. One very important thing to note over here is that we can have only a noun or a pronoun as subject or object. We can only have either a noun or a pronoun in place of subject and object. We cannot have any other part of speech at the place of subject and object. Now, the next thing that we need to understand is what is a verb? Any word that expresses an action or a state of being is a verb. For example, I am teaching English. What is the work which is being done over here? Teaching. So this is your verb. This is the main verb. And am is helping verb. So this in this sentence, teaching is our main verb because this word is telling me the work which is being done. In the second sentence, you are a student. No work is being done over here, but it is telling me the state of being. So you are a student. Over here, this are is our verb. There are four forms of verb. First form of verb, which is also known as base form. Second form of verb, which is also known as past form. Third form of verb, which is also known as past participle. And fourth form of verb, which is V1 plus ing form. Let's take a few examples. Cut. This is first form of verb, which is also known as base form. The past form, that is second form of this verb, is cut. And the past participle, third form, is also cut. Then we also have S or ES form of verb, which is V1, that is base form plus S or ES. This form is used in present simple tense, which we will see later. So the S or ES form will be cuts, and the fourth form, that is V1 plus ing form, will be cutting. The second example is deal. Its past form is dealt. Past participle form is again same, dealt. S or ES form is deals, and fourth form, that is V1 plus ing form, is dealing. Next we have feed. Second form of feed is fed. Third form is again fed. S or ES form is feeds, and V1 plus ing form is feeding. As discussed earlier, based on the time component of a verb, the tenses can be divided into three types: present tense, past tense, and future tense. And based on the aspect component of a verb, tenses can be of four types: simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. So present tense is divided into four types: simple present tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, and present perfect continuous tense. Similarly, past tense is again subdivided into four types: simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. And in the very same way again, future tense is also subdivided into four types: simple future, future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous tense. Let's start with the very first tense, which is present simple tense. Present simple tense is also known as present indefinite tense. Before we understand the uses of this tense, let us first see the structures of this tense. The first one is our structure of present simple affirmative sentence. What is an affirmative sentence? An affirmative sentence is a positive sentence, and its structure is subject plus V1 plus S or ES plus object. Next we have structure of present simple negative sentence, which is subject plus do does plus not plus V1 plus object. Remember one thing: to convert an affirmative sentence into negative, we have to add not. And not is always used only after a helping verb. And as we can see in our affirmative sentence, we did not have any helping verb. So we have to add one. And the helping verbs which are used in present simple tense are do, does. So our structure of negative sentence will be subject plus do or does plus not plus V1 plus object. One more thing to note over here is, even if in affirmative sentence you use V1 plus S or ES form of verb, then also in negative sentence you have to use only base form, that is only V1 form of verb, because after do or does we use only first form of verb, base form of verb. Next is our structure of present simple interrogative sentence. What is an interrogative sentence? An interrogative sentence is a sentence which is used to ask question. So in this case, what we have to do is we have to interchange the place of subject and helping verb. So helping verb comes first, then your subject, then base form of verb, and then object. And always interrogative sentences always end with a question mark. So it is very easy to convert a negative sentence into interrogative sentence. We just have to interchange the position of helping verb and subject. Now, let's understand the use of present simple tense. When do we use a present simple tense? Students, present simple tense is used to express habitual actions, repeated actions, general truth or universal facts, and also to give instructions or directions. Let's understand all of these with the help of some examples. The first example is, he drinks tea after breakfast. It means that it's his habit to drink tea after the breakfast. So this is an example of habitual action. Let's look at the structure which is used over here. Drinks is our verb, which is V1 plus S or ES form. Who is drinking? He. This is a subject. He drinks what? He drinks tea. Our answer of what is tea. So this is our object. Now what is this rest of the sentence? These two words after breakfast, this is complement. Complement is a word or a group of words which is added just to complete the meaning of a sentence. So after breakfast over here is complement. Next example is, I attend French class every weekend. That means this action is repeated every weekend. So this is an action, this is an example of repeated action. Verb over here is attend. This is V1 form. Who attends? I. This is our subject. I attend what? Answer is French class. Answer of what is French class. So this is our object. And over here again, every weekend is complement. Group of words added just to complete the meaning of the sentence. Next example is, water freezes at 0 degrees. This is an example of universal fact which we cannot change. What work is being done over here? Freeze. So this is V1 plus S or ES form. What is freezing? Water. So this is our subject. We are talking about water. Water freezes what? We are not having any answer of what. Water freezes whom? We don't have any answer of whom also. So in the sentence, object is absent. It is possible to have a sentence without object. And again, at 0 degrees is our complement. Water freezes at 0 degrees. This is an example of universal fact. Next is, open the box. Open is again verb. Whenever a sentence starts with a verb, it is our imperative sentence. Imperative sentences are used to give order or to suggest or to make a request. Over here, it is an example of giving instructions or giving order. So, V1 plus open what? The box. Answer of what is box. So, this is our object. Over here, in imperative sentence, our subject is always hidden, and that hidden subject is you. In all the imperative sentences, we always have a hidden subject which is you. So, though we cannot see the subject over here, still we have one which is you. Now, let's understand when to use V1 and when to use V1 plus S or ES. We have learned that in present simple tense, we use either base form of verb or base form plus S or ES. So now let's understand when do we use V1 and when do we use V1 plus S or ES. So with these subjects, I, we, you, they, and any other plural subject, we use V1, that is base form of verb. And with he, she, it, or any singular subject, we use V1 plus S or ES form of verb. And same thing goes for the helping verbs also. With I, we, you, they, and plural subject, we use do. And with he, she, it, and any other singular subject, we use does. Let's understand with the help of some examples. I attend class every day. Over here, we have used first form of verb, base form of verb, because our subject is I. Had it been she in place of I, she attends class every day. So in case of she, we use V1 plus S or ES. Let's take one more example. Rohan. Rohan plays very well. Over here our subject is singular and the singular verb is V1 plus S or ES. What if I want to make negative of this sentence? Rohan. Again it is singular. For negative, I have told you that we use not, and not is always placed after a helping verb. So we have to add a helping verb. So we have two choices, do or does. Since our subject over here is singular, we will use does. Rohan does not play very well. Pay attention to one thing. After using does, we use V1 form. We do not use V1 plus S or ES form, even if in our affirmative sentence we have used V1 plus S or ES form. With do and does, we use only base form of verb, V1 form of verb. Let's take one more example. Rita and Sita sing melodiously. Over here, we have plural subject, Rita and Sita. So we use only first form of verb. And to make negative of this, we have to use one helping verb. Rita and Sita do not sing melodiously. Again, we have plural subject, so we will use do, not does. And after do, first form of verb. Rita and Sita do not sing melodiously. Okay, students, to have a better understanding of the concept, let's solve one exercise. So the first question is, choose the correct option to fill in the blank. First one is, they dash here every day. We have two options, play or plays. Over here, our subject is they. This is a plural subject, and a plural verb is first form of verb, base form of verb. So our answer over here will be play. They play here every day. Second example. Does she not come to school every day? Over here, our subject is she, which is a singular subject, and a singular form of verb is V1 plus S or ES form. This is a plural form, and this is a singular form. So with this we use does. So our answer will be, does she not come to school? Next is, my parents dash me to be well behaved all the time. Again over here, our subject is my parents, which is a plural subject. And with plural we use V1. So our answer will be expect, not expects. So our answer will be, my parents expect me to be well behaved all the time. Next one is, one of my friends dash this place every week. Over here our subject is singular. Our subject is not friends. Our subject is not even my friends. Our subject is one of my friends. मेरे दोस्तों में से एक. That means it's a singular subject. And with singular subject, we use singular verb, which is V1 plus S or ES. So our answer will be visits. One of my friends visits this place every week. Next is dash here at once. Dash here at once. You can see this is an affirmative sentence and it is starting with verb. So what type of sentence is it? It is an imperative sentence. And imperative sentences start with V1. V1 form over here is come. Come here at once. Come here at once. Next is Rohan dash not dash to accompany us. Rohan is again singular subject. With singular subject we use does as helping verb. So answer will be does. Rohan does not. As I told you, after do does we only use first form of verb. We never use V1 plus S or ES form of verb. We only use first form of verb. So our answer over here will be want. Rohan does not want to accompany us. Next sentence is Reshma and Reena dash a lot. Over here we can see our subject is plural. Reshma and Reena. So with plural subject we use plural verb, which is first form of verb. So our answer will be speak. Reshma and Reena speak a lot. Next one is the earth dash around the sun. The earth dash around the sun. Subject is singular. So our answer will also be singular verb, which is V1 plus S or ES form. So our answer will be revolves. The earth revolves round the sun. Next example is dash our teacher dash us notes. Our subject over here is teacher. It's an interrogative sentence. So first we will have helping verb and our subject is singular, teacher. So with singular subject, which helping verb do we use? We use does. So our answer will be does. Does our teacher. As discussed before, with does and with do, we only use first form of verb. So our answer over here will be give. Does our teacher give us notes? Next, you dash to do this now. Have or has. We have learned that with you, with I, we, you, and they, we use V1 form. we do not use V1 plus S or ES form. And have is V1 form, whereas has is V1 plus S or ES form of have. So our answer will be have, because with you we use only V1. So our answer will be have. You have to do this now. So I hope that the concept of present simple tense is clear to you all. Now here is an assignment for you all. You have to make 5 affirmative sentences in present simple tense, and then you have to change those affirmative sentences into negative and interrogative. That means in all you have to make 15 sentences. Students, it's vocab building time now. Let's learn a few idioms that can be used to describe nature of a person. The first one is a shrinking violet. It means a shy person. Example, she is no shrinking violet in theater class and is always ready to act. Means she is never shy in theater class and is always ready to act. A shrinking violet means a shy person. Next one is many moons ago. It means a very long time ago. Example, I learnt French many moons ago. Means a very long time ago. Next is to cut no ice. It means doesn't have any effect or influence. For example, even my scoldings cut no ice on my younger brother. That means even my scoldings have no effect on my younger brother. Next one is on cloud nine. It means to be extremely happy. Example, I was on cloud nine when I won the first prize in the competition. The next idiom is once in a blue moon. It means very rarely. Example, I watch TV once in a blue moon. It means I watch TV very rarely. And the last one is calm before the storm. The meaning is unusual or false quiet period before a period of upheaval. Example, the teacher knows who has done this mistake. Still she is quiet. I think that's calm before the storm. Thank you so much, all of you. Hope you enjoyed learning new things. I'll continue with the next tense in my next video. Till then, this is Dimple Lalwani signing off. Keep practicing, keep conversing in English. Thank you.